Our parents and grandparents are veterans, and my father-in-law, he's marching in the parade, and he's part of the honor guard here in West Duluth, and it's important for all of us to get together and remember his sacrifices, his personal sacrifice, and this is a good way to spend the day too.
I guess for me, it hasn't made me personally uncomfortable because I haven't seen it so much. I haven't been witness to a lot of these types of crimes. But it does concern me just as a citizen of this area and in Duluth that, that crime is definitely on the rise.
Right there, they went up through the alleyway, and then all the police came and everything, and the cab driver stayed and everything for a witness. There was some other witnesses, but the police officer just told them.
At last, the Vietnam veteran is getting the attention.
It was raised, now what? A memorial for years and years to come. To be able to then generate, you had to maintain a certain grading criteria in school, you had to be committed to go to college, and you had to write an essay. And the essay was entitled Vietnam.
We started fighting the fire at 21st Street and at 28th Street moving south, and by the time our people got up to the tie pile here, it had encroached onto the tie pile, and that was the end of that.
Oh, yeah.
What it does, it brings old friends together to meet new friends. It's a camaraderie amongst the Harley riders.
It seems simple enough. All you want is to gain a little more freedom for your life, to quit living from paycheck to paycheck, and know that you're...
So all you want to do is to get ahead in life, spend more time with your family and less time working. So you turn to a get-rich-quick product, but remember, it may be just what it is. Too good to be true. For the past year in Wisconsin, Strategic Telecom Services, also known as STS, held seminars touting their money-making phone card. Participants say for $845 they could get in on the deal. All they had to do was to get others to sell for them to see a profit.
We had people up in this part of the state that signed up a number of family members. One signed up 7 family members, made the payment of $854 on behalf of each of the family members. members. And what ended up happening is none of them could sell these phone cards. They weren't able to get other people involved. And eventually the family members started fighting with each other over this.
In 15 weeks, virtually we are debt-free.
The State Consumer Protection Agency says representatives of the company violated 2 Wisconsin laws. First, some ads misrepresented the investment money and amount of time. Second, STS is accused of using a pyramid scheme. The company emphasized recruiting people rather than selling the product. You're looking at a list of names of people recruited by STS. In Wisconsin alone, over 7,000 people signed up, spending over $3 million. Officials are asking people to call in and complain so they can help them get their money back.
But we only ended up with 41 complaints. And that's another typical sign of a pyramid scheme, is that people blame themselves for participating in this. I should have known better, and therefore I'm not going to complain to anybody.
Omaken says this could happen to anyone, so he gives us these tips for when you attend a seminar. Beware of the company if its emphasis is on recruiting people versus selling a product with a value to a consumer. Or if the company tells you you must sign up within the next half an hour for a discount. Never sign up at the seminar. If it's a good opportunity, it'll still be there and the company will still want to talk to you. STS has agreed to a court order to follow state laws. The company has just paid over $23,000 for allegedly misleading participants. The Wisconsin Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection is investigating 12 to 20 major salespeople in Wisconsin, and the state may seek criminal prosecution. In Superior, Angela Wang, Channel 6 News.
They obviously depend a lot on the money that's placed into the program by consumers like the ones here in Wisconsin. But again, the phone cards are so high in
The gushing water used to sanitize these hospital instruments is being pumped through by Memorial Medical Center's own pressure system. That's because Ashland's water system isn't strong enough to push the water into the hospital. That's why the hospital must also purify its water for kidney dialysis.
Oh yeah, they promised us water again next year, type of thing. So we do have that kind of a joke that goes around. Yeah, we are a little frustrated by it. I don't want to say anything negative about the city, because I honestly believe they've worked on it as hard as they could.
Because of those problems and more, the city of Ashland received over $4.3 million in loans from the U.S. Department of Agriculture and Rural Development. The money will be used to upgrade and improve the city's water supply. They'll build a new water tower, add more power to their pumping stations, and they'll also build a new main line. Another part of the plan includes building a new water treatment center. The current system uses sand to purify the water. City officials say the current system is meeting federal standards, but next year a new filter system will be in place. It removes particles 30 times finer than a human hair.
It's been a big project for us. Just the actual grant process of trying to secure this funding has taken a year and a half. And obviously our planning and engineering has taken even longer. So a lot of people put forth a lot of effort on this over a long period of time. So we're really excited about today.
It'll be great. It'll save us some money. We can turn our pumps off when this is finally done. We can finally be assured that we can see some economic growth. It's a relief. We're real pleased that this is finally going.
The new water supply system is in the planning phase. The city hopes to start construction next year. In Ashland, Angela Wang, Channel 6 News.
This ship is the Caribbean Mercy. It's one of the fleet of Mercy ships that we have. It was here 2 years ago, and we're here primarily for a goodwill return visit. Last time we were docked in the same location at the same time of year, and we've since been working on the ship.
Sorry about that.
Administrative assistant during the time John Fiedler
and control of people.
is an op. Well. Management for sexual.
Towards women. Again.
He told us the state sent.
Like a genie that has been forced back into its bottle, the Red River once again flows gently within its banks. All along them, however, remnants of a hidden fury. Unleashed this spring, it forced the evacuation of thousands of residents from the Grand Forks area. And while the water has since moved out, in some areas, the residents haven't moved back in.
Every time we come back, it's like unbelievable. Everybody and everything is gone. All your neighbors, all your friends, they're all gone.
When the flood ravaged Janice Hinckley's neighborhood,
my husband put our house on the demolition because it might as well go.
She lost much more than her home.
It's our whole life. We had 5 children we raised here.
Left only with memories from her past, she grows anxious as she seeks answers to her future and federal assistance.
I'm short on patience, sometimes with the government.
Do you sense that the level of frustration is finally beginning to mount among some of the people?
You know, I don't really get that feeling.
You fill out millions of papers.
People seem to be really optimistic.
It's going to take about a week. And the next day you get millions more and refill them out.
I think the general consensus is they're pretty happy with the assistance they've received to date.
If not happy, those who've successfully navigated the paper maze are at the very least grateful. Since April, FEMA has provided nearly $40 million in housing assistance to the people of Grand Forks. But consider this, the total estimated cost of flood damage in the city is over $1 billion.
What type of assistance are you providing?
Well, FEMA, our primary goal is to make sure that everyone has a safe and clean place to live. So we have rental assistance, and we also have a program to assist people in, well, not assist, but to provide funds for repairs, minimum repairs to their home.
Even 2 months after the fact, the magnitude of the Great Flood is overwhelming. FEMA says it is the worst disaster per capita in the history of the United States. In Grand Forks alone, more than half of the 10,000 homes sustained damage, 4% of them so much damage they'll never be rebuilt. It's not that some of the 400 or so homeowners in question wouldn't like to. They aren't being allowed to.
If they're in a 100-year floodplain, they will not be able to rebuild.
For everyone in Lincoln Park, the oldest and hardest hit neighborhood in Grand Forks, it seems to be a foregone conclusion. Well, for everyone except Kelly Straub.
Somebody's got to have fun out of the flood, and I guess it's me, you know?
That somebody is proving to be a thorn in the side of city government. Surrounded by condemned and abandoned homes, she and her family are digging in as the rest of the neighborhood bails out.
Actually, we didn't move back here to be ugly about it. We moved back because we moved 9 times in 4 weeks.
And because one of her 5 cats recently had a litter of 6 kittens.
And they're so little, they don't take up much room.
Prompting a housing official to offer some cold advice as Straub sought assistance.
If you got your priorities straight and you just put these pets to sleep, she said, you would be able to house your family. And I said, what a good idea. The kids lost, let's see, all their personal belongings, their house, their neighborhood, their school, all their friends. Let's kill the pets too.
At a time when humor, understandably, is in short supply, Straub's candor is nothing short of refreshing. Whether it's an observation about the endless stream of gawkers filing through her neighborhood.
This lady comes and she's in all this jewelry and she's just beautiful, you know, and you can tell she's just wealthier than the bejesus. And she's in heels. And it's just, take my picture in front of the carpet chair, you know. And then she'd go, the porta potty, get this in the background, get this in the background. And I'm thinking, lady, I live here. This is my stuff and my porta potty, you know. Yippee, it's a party.
Or the Mickey Mouse housewarming invitation she's sending out to the mayor and aldermen because of the uncertainty surrounding the city's plans to buy out her property.
I know she's got something in my mail now. I just happened to just briefly see the address, which I'm going to check on.
But it's going to be BYOB, bring your own blankets, because it's flipping cold down here. I don't need.
You have to ask yourself, why does she laugh?
The stress hasn't gotten to you, has it?
Oh, can you tell? Snap.
Because it's either that or cry.
Well, initially I felt frightened and didn't know what to do. And now I feel that I know that my community is behind me in terms of fighting off this kind of terroristic threat.
Already on the FBI's list of the 10 most wanted fugitives.
Just Mike's presentation. We're going around handing out flyers. You can put those up where it's real visible, your employees.
Co-district, and that's like appeal to me when
This is our 17th Riverboat Heritage Days, and each year our parade gets larger, our events, we have more and more events, and we have a captain and a queen pageant every year.
There's sails right in that board right there that you just put down.
Northland Country Club has been the target of ongoing vandalism since the beginning of July. This happens almost every year. The vandals concentrate on a remote area around the 10th tee. 4 times they've stolen flags and tee markers, and once they put acid in the ball washers. A backhoe parked near the tee was damaged with rocks and clubs, and one of the greens was damaged when somebody tried to dig up the sod. Twice the vandals spray-painted obscenities on the grass, benches, and containers. The repair costs are nearly $1,500, and there's no end in sight. This type of crime is usually committed by young people. Call Crime Stoppers if you know who they are. We'll pay a substantial amount of money and keep the caller's name anonymous. Our numbers are 1-800-974-TIPS or 723-ENOUGH. That's 723-3683.
Applause might be something Kip Jones will hear quite frequently in his lifetime. The 16-year-old will be a senior at Duluth East High School in the fall, and he's already arranged music for professional musicians. His recent orchestral arrangement of the national anthem caught the attention of Lake Superior Chamber Orchestra conductor Warren Friesen. Friesen gave the piece its first public performance, and its reception was overwhelming.
I'm glad it was well received. I am. And I like to think that it's not because, I'm young and I'm a Duluthian, but that it's because it was a genuinely, beautiful piece of music. That's what I'd like to think. I don't know how true that is.
His dad was part of the orchestra for Kip's big debut. He can't hide it. He's very proud of his son.
I had to be careful last night to not smile too largely, because I didn't want to look too stupid. But yeah, I was very, very proud of him and the situation and just being able to be involved in it in that way.
When I was listening to it, it didn't feel like an object of my creation. It felt more like, I don't know, it felt more like I had more of a hand in a piece of music than I've had in playing any other one, but it didn't feel incredibly different. It just felt more, I don't know, more affecting. anything else I'll ever compose will be taken up by a professional orchestra, but I certainly hope so.
Jason Rice, Channel 6 News.
On behalf of the Grand Portage Lodge Casino, I present this check to you for $10,000.
Will win $10,000 courtesy of Grand Portage Lodge. At this time, I'd like to ask Brian Sherman to step forward with the presentation of the check for Betty Share. Brian?
Well, Betty, like Bob was explaining, we're the recipients of the 5th Day Grand Slam promotion sponsored by Grand Portage Lodge Casino. It's with great pride on behalf of the Grand Portage Lodge Casino.
Some of them work well. We wrote letters to some of the churches, but we received response from churches that we didn't expect from, and the whole county has supported us, and you can see that we need almost another van.
See, there you go. Okay.
We really work with the girls on trust building new trust relationships. It also works on their self-image. Maybe they're going to do something today that they've never tried before. It's a new experience, and with every new experience, they just grow a little bit more.
In Guam, a distraught woman mourned the loss of her loved one in the crash of Korean Air 801 at a memorial service led by Buddhist monks. Rescuers are still working to get at some 100 bodies so far unrecovered. Meantime, investigators said today the cockpit voice recorders indicate the pilots got a clearance to land, dropped the gear, and then said little as the plane descended into a blinding crash with 3 more miles to go to the runway. That suggests pilot error, but the National Transportation Safety Board is looking at other issues too.
The weather conditions, the navigational aids and their operations have to be checked. I want to look very closely at the tower operations.
Like, for instance, why didn't the tower, with altitude reporting radar, not warn the plane it was getting too low? Was the plane's altimeter set incorrectly, which could mislead the pilots by hundreds of feet? And was the autopilot engaged too soon for the final descent? A warning about that in a Flight Safety Foundation video.
When commanded, they will unerringly follow your instructions straight into the ground.
Such lack of awareness has caused some 3,000 aviation deaths worldwide just since 1990.
Sometimes they land short of a runway, sometimes they hit a mountain, but it's basically a human factor's error.
Korean Air says it's premature to call this pilot error, but that's just where this investigation is heading. Sandy Gilmore, NBC News, Washington.
as many as that had product there, we told them, come on in and get it. We'll, either just take what you've given us already as a deposit or and just, call it even as we can.
Spirits were high on the picket line in front of Duluth's UPS office today. Strikers and retired Teamsters rallied to show their strength.
And we decided we should come down here and give these UPS people, working people, some support, which they need.
Now it's our turn to help these other people out, because definitely their lives and their future is at stake.
More than 40 retired Teamsters and their families came down and talked about the current situation.
Well, I think the drivers are right. The company is all wrong in what they're trying to do. And I really think that if these people stick together, they will win this thing, But they got to stick together as a group, not as one.
Besides full support from members of the retired Teamster Union, other area unions such as Local 66 and the Central Labor Body are showing their support as well.
We're here to support your cause. We have supported a working families agenda with our Central Labor Body. We know that's what this strike is all about. We will be with you here on the picket line for one day longer than the management.
UPS strikers hope a settlement will be reached soon, but say they want to make sure their needs are met.
Pension benefits double, wage, we're making 55% of what the full-timers make, so they could create a few positions in our center alone that would definitely help out some part-time employees.
This is the 12th day of the nationwide UPS strike. The two sides have yet to reach a compromise. In Duluth, Kristen Kunze, Channel 6 News.
Investigators pored over the Nebraska Hudson food plant, searching for the source of E. coli bacteria, the microorganism that forced a national food recall of preformed hamburger patties.
But we are exploring and overturning every stone that might be there to see if there might be something in our system we've missed. We don't believe that to be true.
E. coli are bacteria found in the digestive tract of beef and dairy cows. Most illness has been associated with eating undercooked, contaminated beef or drinking unpasteurized milk. However, E. coli can also be passed person to person, such as in families or daycares.
While you may not realize it, most people come in contact with harmful bacteria like E. coli every day. They just don't realize it unless they get sick. While you can't see these microorganisms, there are some things you can do to safeguard your family's health.
But where you actually cut things up and prepare things like your countertop or your cutting board or whatever you use, that surface, absolutely. If you put a raw product on there like a chicken or a meat product, there's going to be juices on that. So if you don't clean that and sanitize that thoroughly before you make a salad on the same surface, you may contaminate a product that isn't going to be cooked.
Cooking food at the right temperature is another way to safeguard your dinner. Some Burger King restaurants in the Nebraska area bought beef from the Hudson plant, but none had any bad meat. Local Burger King owner Nick Petronas says the restaurant adheres to strict guidelines for food safety.
4 times a day we take a temperature check, and we want to make sure our beef is at least 160 degrees. And the E. coli bacteria is supposed to not survive past 150, 155. Well, Burger King wants to make sure we're at least 160.
The day we're there, the burger temperature is 162. And now there's a new test out to specifically look for E. coli's presence on food products. The test is still being fine-tuned. Researchers hope its use will one day be as widespread as the culprit it's designed to identify. In Duluth, Maureen Tallarico, Channel 6 News. Jury selection could wrap up as early as the end of the week. At least 2 more jurors were chosen today, a white man and a white woman, bringing the number to at least 10 jurors chosen so far. The question is still open on whether the only Native American woman on the entire panel of 100 jurors, potential jurors, will be chosen to sit on the jury. That remains open. The court will have a hearing tomorrow. The prosecution had used a peremptory strike to remove the woman. Both defense attorneys had opposed that, citing possible discrimination. The judge will hear arguments regarding that tomorrow, then make his decision. If she is chosen, she will at least be juror number 11. Jury selection continues tomorrow. In Hastings, Maureen Tallarico, Channel 6 News.
Sounds like this may be more common if the $16.5 million tax levy is passed this November. A large portion of the money would be used to hire 27 specialists for music, art, and phy-ed classes. It also involves hiring 8 new kindergarten teachers and offering all-day kindergarten classes.
Those are vital programs. You know, they're not just extras. Those are things that should be part of a curriculum. Any good, solid curriculum should have those programs in fine arts, because they're part of a lifelong learning type situation that should start at a young age.
Educators agree it's important for kids to have a chance to learn about music, art, and phy-ed, especially during their early years.
We hope that for all kids coming through the school system, that they can say when they graduate from high school that they had access to those programs and they were able to, be involved in art, music, PE, all the way through elementary school.
In order to hire the new permanent teachers, other positions would not be replaced.
We will hire what we need, and we will look at positions that we don't need in the future as the grad rule comes in and other things happen, and we will eliminate those positions through attrition so that nobody really loses a job.
Other parts of the school plan involve enhancing libraries, improvements in technology, and also upgrading outdoor facilities such as the Ardeen Field and Public School Stadium. If passed, the levy will run for 5 years. A vote of yes will not increase people's property taxes, but will continue a special school levy that passed in 1993. In Duluth, Kristen Kunze, Channel 6 News.
You need the end of the alphabet to kind of spread down a little bit. Z is down.
The orientation group leaders are going to be doing the skit that addresses many different student issues on campus to help people kind of realize what the issues are that they're going to be experiencing for their first year, and as well to encourage them to make healthy choices and good choices for themselves.
Adam? By your first name. Okay. All right, everybody freeze. I have a new...
That's why I have introduced legislation which would, in essence, end the federal highway program so that Wisconsin can keep its own gas tax money, use our own funds to build our own roads. That would assure that we would get back a better share than we've ever gotten before.
it's been a thorough, authentic restoration of the ship. We did it the same way that when they originally built it back in the 20s. They tried to replicate the way ships have been built by the Vikings 1,000 years ago, and we also tried to do that.
A grief-stricken Prince Charles watched as his former wife's flag-draped coffin was placed on a Royal Air Force jet, ready to take the princess home for the final time. What started as a private weekend in Paris turned into an international tragedy when Princess Diana, her boyfriend Dodi Fayed, and his bodyguard were all killed after a high-speed chase by the paparazzi. Diana's bodyguard was the only survivor. Princess Diana's brother, the Earl Spencer, publicly said what many here are thinking.
That I always believed the press would kill her in the end.
Today, 7 photographers were placed into custody, and French police will hold a press briefing sometime tomorrow on the status of what they're calling a criminal investigation. Mohammed Fayed, Dodi Fayed's father, announced he will file a civil suit in the matter. Meanwhile, flowers were placed all day at the site of the accident. American visitors in Paris echoed the sadness shared by the world.
Just total sadness. We all loved her.
Others expressed outrage at the paparazzi. Perhaps nowhere has been harder hit emotionally than in Diana's native England. The country is in a state of shock and mourning. Crowds swelled outside of Buckingham Palace, where a formal announcement regarding the princess's funeral is expected sometime tomorrow. Colleen Dominguez, NBC News, Paris.
The stage-stopped Little Store in Carlton was robbed early Saturday morning, August 16th. During a period of light traffic, 2 men wearing ski masks entered the store. They got rough with the clerk and threw her to the floor. As one of them stood over her, the other searched for valuables. They then tried to take the money out of the cash register but couldn't get it open. They forced the clerk up and ordered her to open the till. They grabbed that money and ran out of the store. Fortunately, the clerk wasn't hurt. Call Crime Stoppers if you know who the robbers are. Call us if you even have any suspicions. We'll pay as much as $1,000 and keep your name anonymous. Our numbers are 1-800-974-TIPS or 723-ENOUGH. That's 723-3683.
Back in business. Mrs. Minnesota will distribute the prizes as they... Beverly, are you here?
drainage topside has to be.
Well, the skateboarders, I'm not saying that all of them are bad, just most of them, are a good portion, overrun us from the skateboard park that we have down by the depot.
Beginning of my speech. We are a nonprofit organization. The purpose of the Friends is to maintain an organization of persons who advocate for the library.
But you're a 501c3 organization.
We're involved with many issues, and we've become involved with this project. Joel Kilgore can introduce himself. He's
supporting this, and MPIRG, the Minnesota Public Interest Research Group, as well.
For us in Duluth, I think the incursion of this kind of hatred into our community, into the North Woods community, was a kind of a wake-up call for us to.
Are they concerned that there are going to be ramifications of them being involved in this thing tomorrow?
Yes, I believe they are concerned. That's why the local person here had asked that it be called off. It's my understanding through an article that was in a local paper here that he has received death threats.
Mike McQueenie is the man receiving those threats. He is the local Klan member who organized the Klan meeting being held tomorrow in Ironwood. He tried to call it off, but the national KKK insisted that it be held. Local residents are not happy about the Klan rally, but they are politically correct when they talk about the hate group who is anything but.
I feel that they have a right to express their opinions.
People of all race, creed, and color that come up here to our area, and everybody is an equal American as far as we're concerned, and certainly we have no need for anybody of the nature of the KKK to be in this area.
Local church groups from all religious denominations will band together at Zion Lutheran Church to pray for hope, while the Klan preaches for hate.
We feel that Ironwood is not fertile soil for the kind of message that the Klan has.
People in the city are also using orange ribbons to symbolize an anti-Klan position.
That there must be well over 1,000 ribbons out there that people are wearing. They're on the street posts downtown. We've got them on the front of the church here to kind of say this is the place, and those stores better restock before Halloween because there's no orange left.
An unfortunate note, holding the rally will cost Ironwood taxpayers around $20,000 in materials and man-hours.
It bothers me a lot because I could take $20,000 right now and do a lot more in a lot of other areas than a Klan rally.
This is Memorial Lane where the KKK rally will be held tomorrow. They're going to set up the stage directly behind me and the members will fill in beyond that. These are the barricades that will create a buffer zone tomorrow between the members of the Klan and the public. So the question that remains here tonight is, why Ironwood and why now? And that's something we'll all have to wait until tomorrow to find out. Reporting from Ironwood, Justin Acree, Channel 6 News.
Squeals of delight and screams of terror bounce off the walls as a scaly, slinky one greets her friends with an inquiring tongue. These students from all around the Northland got the chance to spend a day exploring valuable natural resources.
I learned that the possum had like 50 teeth and millipedes have like 350 legs, and owl can turn its head about 3/4 of the way around.
All of the classes are hands-on. Instructors say that's the best way to teach students about caring for and protecting the environment.
Hands-on is easier because it's easier to learn rather than just sitting there listening. It's not quite as boring, and it's easier because you can pay attention, and it's just a lot easier than just talking.
It was really fun because, I mean, there was a lot of hands-on things, and we got to see a whole bunch of experiments, and especially the one blowing up in the science, the water blew up and stuff like that, and it was just really fun to see everything and learn everything.
From chemistry experiments to feathered friends, the students eagerly listened as they soaked in some practical information.
Use wisely. Use things wisely. Whatever it happens to be. If you're running water to brush your teeth, you don't need to run water down the sink while you're brushing your teeth. You can turn the water off. You can turn off the lights when you leave a room.
Bob says these kids are learning some small things that'll save a big world. At Long Lake Conservation Center, Angela Wang, Channel 6 News.
If not, I thank you guys for your attention.
Was ever served in the United States Army Air Corps. National Cemetery. The next general, General Mitchell.
It was a very emotional day, but certainly we expressed our thanks as eloquently as we can.
With today's date, please to share with your members of staff. Generals and Commander Colonel, this is a hometown feel. That is such a tradition of the 148th and anyone that ever served in the military. We're going to have our own unveiling of sorts, maybe not.
Is everybody anteed in?
The ante is up, all 25 cents. The cards are shuffled and the deck is dealt. These ladies of the Blitz Club are ready for a round of laughter and some quick cash.
We used to be able to make enough for a haircut. Now we can't even pay the tip.
Well, we were always going to start an investment club and never did it. Yeah. We're
not too late.
No.
No, we're still walking around. I think it's a good idea.
So it's not really the money that unites these friends month after month and year after year?
We can chat the whole time. You don't have to think a lot. It isn't like playing bridge, you know. It's a simple game, and it's fun. And the most we can lose in an evening after playing 3 games is 75 cents.
It all started as a sewing club, but the ladies just did not enjoy sewing, so they decided to give Blitz a try. It's been over 45 years, and the Blitz Club is still in action.
And there's Marilyn up there.
Michelle's party.
Some of these friends met in first grade, and they've stuck together ever since, tighter than glue, creating an unbreakable bond.
I think that we'd do just about anything for each other. I know a few years ago I was in a lot of trouble. I had 2 babies and I was real sick, and Betty, I couldn't have lived without Betty. She came every day and helped me. And
there are no surprises with their friendship. From colored chips to a hand of diamonds, these ladies are in for the long haul.
Until we're in the nursing home together,
Yeah.
we all have to sign up for the same one. So we can...
They'll have to build one for us.
we can do that together. There's no way that we can be separated at all.
Oh, are you blitzing? No.
In Duluth, Angela Wang, Channel 6 News.
And Betty's we did, didn't we? Christmas? Betty's.
We ask that you give the hug to your child, your spouse, your friend, a stranger even, that we cannot give Paul. We also want to thank all of you who have and continue. Yes.
You don't have to worry about it. But in the year 2000 and beyond, it's going to be an issue.
Mr. Anderson is teaching his class about the possible downfalls of Social Security. That and other practical topics like how to get a job and how to handle your money are what he teaches in his junior achievement classes.
Keeping the kids informed, I think that's really how I feel about being a good teacher. You know, you have to keep forcing all this good information out to the kids.
Last May, a representative from Junior Achievement paid a surprise visit to Mr. Anderson's classroom. She came in with a bouquet of balloons and a letter. The letter said, "Congratulations, you're Teacher of the Year for the state of Minnesota."
It was a great surprise, you know, and I was kind of speechless at first, you know. I kind of didn't know what to say, and I had to have a few days to think about what I was going to say.
For a teacher going on his 29th year, figuring out what to say is not usually a problem.
On Saturday, and there's a big job fair down at the deck. Okay.
Yeah, he did take time out to talk to me individually and other students, and kind of helped them out. You know, they needed some help with something, or you know, if they're having problems with finding a job or anything, you know.
His students give him a big shining A for his classwork and an A+ for extra credit.
He was funny. He had a sense of humor, and he joked around a lot. I don't know, there's just something about him that made him different.
I came back in September, and I feel energized. You know, I feel like the Duracell batteries. You know, I'm not the bunny, but I'm the teacher, and my batteries are still going. You know.
And when the bell rings, Mr. Anderson is still at school, giving extra time to help mold his kids. He says it's an invigorating job. The students keep him on his toes. He'd never trade it for anything. In Duluth, Angela Wang, Channel 6 News.
And we'll talk a little bit about abbreviations. And there's two on here that you don't really have to respond to because you really don't exist anymore.
The family knew Paul as a young 17-year-old who liked to be outdoors, liked hunting, fishing. We saw him in the back of a trunk, and that image is never going to leave my mind. I'm never going to forget that.
You guys never even saw a
emphasis on prevention along the way. The other group of kids who are not what you've done, what's worked for you, you know, okay, if you as adults know that what they're doing is...
And what we try to do in the schools is we try to keep the school functioning as close to a normal day as you can, and yet you know it's not going to be a normal day, but it's just important to say that we need to work with this and with support from everyone that hopefully we can get through this situation and go on with our life.
shotgun or not? Right now they're all pistols. Yeah. Where the heck did you park?
Virtually barnstormed our building with 14 agents, with guns, flak jackets, battering ram. They were going to bust into the building if nobody was there. Scared my so-called partner unbelievably, you know, and guns and everything pointed in his face, frisked him. It was just unbelievable. Above water, it'll go on. I mean, it'll live. Listen, you know, here I am. There's a guy, and I think it's Culligan Waterman, the original Culligan Waterman from Virginia. They virtually just ruined him. I mean, I think he's.
Transparencies of patterns.
Oh, okay.
And
It's getting ready to chase away.
Huh? Can you? Sure.
St. Michael's Church in Duluth's Lakeside community had an extensive fire on Sunday afternoon, September 21st. The fire started in an entrance area used to collect reusable clothing and other items. It caused over $100,000 in smoke and fire damage. Investigators haven't found any mechanical reason for the fire and suspect someone started it. They're trying to determine if it was intentionally started or if someone accidentally threw a lit match or cigarette on the pile. Call the fire department if you visited the drop-off site or saw anyone in that area between 1 and 3 Sunday afternoon. If you want to remain anonymous, call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-974-TIPS or 723-ENOUGH. If your information leads to the arrest of an arsonist, you could receive up to $1,000 reward.
You know, I was watching the firefighters last night, and it takes a tremendous amount of courage to get up on those ladders and get right into a working fire, and I respect them.
Going with the same type of diagnostics, but right now every car is different. Well, the computers are more efficiently allow the transmission to operate. But the other advantage to computers is they'll give you some self-diagnostics, but then again it opens. They're moving more towards going with the same.
Linda and Terry Letourneau are anxious to see this piece of land blossom into their next home. For some time now, it's been the Duluth couple's dream to build a new house. And for the next 8 months, Lake Superior College students will build the Letourneau's dream. As the students learn their trade, plans turn from paper to concrete. The blueprints came from a book they bought.
And it was kind of funny because there was like 5 or 6 different designs that he looked through and he checked off. And he says, you look through and let me know what you think. And each one that I liked, he already checked that off. So and this one that we're doing was the one we liked the best.
The design they chose also fit the bill for a project at Lake Superior College. Tim White teaches the first and second year carpentry students that work on the Letourneau home 5 days a week. He says the Letourneaus are getting a bargain.
A nice home, built probably as well as anybody would build, no corners cut, because we don't have that cost and constraint of labor and whatever, and then at a very economical price.
And the price is right because there's no charge for student labor. There are, however, plenty of hoops to jump through to ensure the project goes smoothly.
It gives us a list of things, this has to be done by a certain date, this has to be done by a certain date, and you go around and you go to different businesses and whatnot, so it's a real learning experience.
Jason Rice, Channel 6 News.
Have you ever lived, have you ever built a home before?
No.
Yourself? Okay.
No.
On Friday afternoon, October 2nd, a senior citizen was targeted by a con artist who tried to get information on her bank account. He used an old telephone scam called the Bank Examiner scheme. He claimed to be the bank auditor and wanted to clear up one of her deposit transactions, which the bank accidentally destroyed. He could clear up the transaction, but needed to know her account number and other personal information. The victim was suspicious and questioned which bank he represented. He got angry and tried to frighten her. He threatened to report her to the bank's attorney. She refused to answer, and the con artist hung up. Banks don't ask private or bank information over the phone. They discourage it. A con artist will steal you blind if you tell them your numbers. Call Crime Stoppers if you have any questions or know who the con artist is. Our numbers are 1-800-974-TIPS or 723-ENOUGH. That's 723-3683.
This is not your normal classroom. These kids are enrolled in a special Music Makers program at the John S. Dusk Music Conservatory in Duluth. It's here where kids can learn the fundamentals of music at a very young age.
We banged on drums and played on the piano and instruments. But the instruments are for other classes that come in.
Abby Clausen has been in the program since this past summer. She says it's as fun as a sleepover with her friends. Her mother? Well, she says these classes are a good way to learn about much more than just music.
They make it fun. They have games. The kids are learning without even knowing it. And that's the part she loves the best, is because she can socialize and have a good time.
Teaching kids the love of music at a young age is exactly what Music Garden is all about. Children who just learn to walk and talk are already learning the basics of music through this program.
And as a piano teacher, I've seen how kids coming in at age 8 or 9 to learn an instrument do really well if they've had plenty of experiences before that, experiences that are fun in nature with folk music and with dancing and singing with their parents and playing music games.
Teachers say that kids in these music programs have a definite musical advantage over other kids. And who knows, maybe Abby could become the next Whitney Houston. For Kids Corner 6, Adam May, Channel 6 News. Jeremy Starry is a student from the Lake Superior College Fire Technology program. He and dozens of other students are facing their toughest lesson in this year's firefighting class.
Firefighting is something that you learn over time, as far as I'm concerned. And that's just something that you have to experience. You know, you have to see how it works. You know, you can learn so much in a classroom and so much fire behavior, but actually seeing it is where you actually learn the most.
That's exactly why the instructor took the class to this home donated by a Duluth woman.
Well, this is the best way for them to apply their skills to a real-life situation. To have a house rather than a simulator or something we manufacture is the perfect way to exercise their training.
Training including checking the gear, rechecking the gear, and finally going in. Behind me right now, this abandoned house is burning at an alarming rate. Duluth firefighters are standing by just in case the fire gets a little too out of hand.
Everything's controlled here. We light the fires off. We expect where they're going to go, but you never know. It could get out of control. Something could happen. Somebody could fall down. The ceilings could collapse. That's why we always have safety people watching.
The fire quickly spread through the upstairs. Flames shot out the windows. And just as planned, the first practice fire was out within a few minutes. Jeremy was one of the men that actually saw what happened inside the inferno.
And we were backing up the people that were lighting the fires. And they started the fire in the initial room, and then they sent the initial team up. But before they got up there, it started rolling out of the other room. So our job was to back it all up and keep it in the initial fire room. And just the smoke layers dropped down, and it got black and it got hot.
Mission complete for this group of new firefighters. In Gary, New Duluth, Adam May, Channel 6 News.
An ad agency in Duluth's Meyerhoff building had an unusual theft sometime during the past summer. On September 15th, they discovered someone had entered their locked offices and disassembled one of their spare computers. The thief removed the computer's cover and stole all the components. She then reassembled the computer so it looked like nothing was missing. When the agency discovered their loss and reported it to the property manager, they learned another tenant had experienced a similar theft from their offices. The loss included a computer monitor and totaled nearly $3,000. Duluth police suspect the thief has computer knowledge and is building other computers with the stolen parts. Call Crime Stoppers if you know who she is or what she did with the components. We'll pay you a substantial reward and keep your name anonymous. Our numbers are 1-800-974-TIPS or 723-ENOUGH. That's 723-3683.
Because, you know, the costs incurred from the trial going to Hastings, the family's been missing work, hotel costs, and me and my friends decided that we'd get together and do something for the family.
Something like this affects a small town like Two Harbors in a personal way. So everybody is touched by it and moved by it and saddened, and so everybody's willing to come out and do something.
Last year in Wisconsin, inattentive driving caused more than 20,000 car accidents, resulting in almost 100 fatalities. And the problem doesn't stop at the border. It affects the entire Northland.
Other people have reported witnessing accidents where people have used their cell phone, or the other victim of an accident has stated that the other person was using their cell phone. So it certainly is an increasing contributing factor.
Cellular phones are not the only distraction in the car. So is eating fast food on your lunch break.
I eat in the car fairly often because I drive a lot for work, but I don't think it's ever caused a problem.
Generally speaking, almost everyone we talked to felt that car phones, makeup, and fast food don't affect your driving. That's exactly why the Wisconsin Department of Transportation is launching a new public awareness campaign.
If your mind's not on the drive, or if you're lost in making up lost time, who's driving? If you find yourself distracted, like say you're lost in talk, get your hands on the wheel and your mind back on the road. After all,
Hey, who's driving?
you are.
This public service announcement may look corny, but the message is quite serious. In fact, it's so serious that cellular phone companies are promoting new technologies.
There's a lot of accessories out there available in order to make driving less hazardous when you're using your cellular phone, such as hands-free kits where a driver does not have to hold the handset while they're driving.
And with winter just around the corner, there's no better time to keep your hands on the wheel. Adam May, Channel 6 News. Halloween is one of the most fun times of the year for kids, but it's also one of the scariest times for pet owners. Animal cruelty has become all too common around the Halloween season.
A lot of people put in the newspaper free cats for Halloween or free black cats for Halloween, and it really isn't the way to go. They might get in the wrong hands of people. Some people are satanic, and some of them are just plain mean to the animals.
Cindy Deck works as a volunteer animal adoption agent. She says that tales of evil black cats can sometimes cause people to do horrible things to them. Animal cruelty, usually aimed at black cats, is triggering animal lovers to take caution.
What we'll do is not adopt out any black cats during the Halloween season, just to be safe. We don't want any animals tortured. We're here to protect the animals. Yeah, so we'll just keep them here.
The animal shelter in Superior is not alone. In fact, animal shelters across the Northland are holding back the adoption of black cats until after Halloween. They're doing it to keep little kitties like this one safe.
Keep all your pets inside the house during the Halloween season. Well, at least Halloween night, do not let them out at all.
Animal lovers agree, saying there's no need to be alarmed, but it's better to be safe than sorry. Adam May, Channel 6 News.
They're saying don't do it. You know, have you been in a cave? We're trying to tell you don't do it, and they're saying we don't want more taxes. And if the twins decide to go, let them go.
The question is, will some of those people who are opposed today say, gosh, we shouldn't have let them go 5 years from now? Yes, there will be.
By the time police arrived at Hanson and 3rd Street in Sturgeon Lake last night, witnesses said the suspect fled the murder scene on foot, running into the surrounding woods.
So we set up a perimeter and we're searching the area utilizing our State Patrol helicopter and as much manpower as we had available.
The search lasted more than 2 hours. State Patrol, county sheriffs, local police, search dogs, and a helicopter were all called into the scene to help find the murder suspect. Meanwhile, the surrounding neighborhood was evacuated. Then a tip came from a passing motorist.
Trying to flag my car down. It looked like he wanted a ride, and I knew what was going on, so I just pulled in the opposite driveway, turned around, and drove down to the police.
After alerting authorities, dozens of squad cars sped off to the site, which was more than a mile away from the scene of the crime. Police combed the woods intensively, and the suspect was apprehended. In front of one of the cop cars? In front of this cop car?
Well, initially it's a tragedy. It's a terrible tragedy for all those involved. Relatives, friends, for everyone. It's a small community and everybody knows everybody.
The Duluth Community Action Program, or CAP, has been helping low-income families insulate and heat homes for the past decade.
It reduces their heating fuel costs, which keeps dollars in their homes that can be used for other basic needs.
But critics charge CAP is spending twice what they need to do this work, and that they're also doing a sloppy job. An example is Ed Thompson's house in the East End.
The insulation that they put in the walls is falling out in the basement. It's an unbelievable job. They just didn't insulate the house properly. That's all there is to it.
Thompson says he noticed storm windows held together with duct tape. A state report says weatherization complaints like his are all too common.
They didn't perform the task as they should have done.
Councilor John Young says a report that will be released Friday shows CAP weatherization work is often below standards, and the program may be overcharging for its services. He says many jobs have come up a couple $1,000s over budget, possibly wasting hundreds of thousands of dollars of taxpayer money.
The council said we are for insulation, we are for fuel assistance, we're for all this. Well, we just don't want these people, while under investigation, to manage those funds.
CAP spokespeople say the problems are due to inexperienced employees and management turnover.
Yes, we've had some problems. We asked for help. We're correcting them. We're committed to correcting them.
CAP claims all new contracts are running under budget, but councilors want them to prove it. In the meantime, they've cut funding by almost $100,000. In Duluth, Adam May, Channel 6 News. Oh, they got some. Oh, so you take that and...
The hose has numbers on it. We can measure over to make sure that we're...
Next to the shores of Lake Superior, pile after pile of torn up, weathered old wood lies waiting for its second lease on life.
When the wood arrives here, it's taken off of the trucks, stacked up, gone through and regraded, and we resize it to make sure, remeasure it, make sure that we're getting the right size. Then it's brought over into this area here, which is the cleaning area.
In the cleaning area, workers run metal detectors over the wood, making sure all the nails, fasteners, and plates are removed. After the wood is cleared, it goes inside to the sawmill, where it's either cut into beams or slab for flooring. The wood is irreplaceable since it can't be grown anymore. Back in the days when acre after acre were covered with forest, trees grew slower with more density. Because of its high quality, it's in high demand. And if you look around Duluth, you'll find this old forest wood in a few popular places. It's hard to believe, but at one point, this beautiful hardwood floor was actually a whiskey distillery in Canada. After the building was demolished, the wood was refinished and custom cut for Catherine Imports. Duluth Timber Company provides a history for purchasers and sometimes find a bit of history in the wood, lodged in trees hundreds of years back.
The tightness of the grain of this, the beauty of the old growth wood is just incredible to me. And the fact that it is getting a second chance, we're not cutting down old growth to provide this, that this is already cut, it's already in existence, is very exciting to me.
In Duluth, Maureen Tallarico, Channel 6 News.
And I am and have been a classroom teacher for the last 27 years. When I think of you,
this money will help provide the resources needed.
The referendum will provide monies for teachers, technology, library books, new programs, and upgraded outdoor facilities that will affect virtually every single student in the Duluth Public Schools. And that's a pretty exciting thought. Over the 5-year period, $16.5 million will be used throughout our district, directly benefiting children. As I was preparing some of the press kit information, I was listing the people that I was expecting to be here and trying to get
Two straight tough winters have greatly decreased the deer population in the Northland. Many wanted this year's to be called off, but instead the season has been restricted almost exclusively to bucks with antlers only.
Well, the reason that we feel the season is not going to be a problem is because it's restricted to the bucks, and as long as you have protection for the does, who are the ones that are going to replace the deer in the future, the buck hunting really won't cause any problem as far as the herd recovering.
Rich Staffen of the DNR says the success rate for hunters is expected to be 10 to 12% in the Northland Zone 1, compared with a 35% state average. There were also less than 19,000 deer killed in the zone last year, after an average of 70,000 annually in the 90s. But that hasn't discouraged licensed sellers or hunters from trying their luck.
It's more of a tradition than anything. You know, it's not so much, they don't have to shoot a deer a lot of times. They just like to get out to the camp and play little cards and have a little fun, and if they see a deer, that's a bonus, you know.
Well, I've been hunting in the dead forest for a couple of years. There hasn't been too many deer. A lot of wolf kill and things like that, chased them out of the area. So I'm going for the camaraderie, not so much the deer.
This is rosemary. Put that in one pile.
It's something that I've just always enjoyed doing, and it's something I'll take out of my spare time to make time, because I get a lot out of it, and knowing that I'm helping other people, it's just a good feeling.
All right, ready? Here we go. Left. Good try. Oh, Chris has got another turn on. No, you're right. You're right. All right, we'll do it with you now. Ready? So.
On a quiet street in West Duluth, Christmas has come early. You can't see from the outside, but the entire second floor of Stuart and Brenda Smith's home is decorated by Kris Kringle.
You know, as a child, we didn't have much growing up. We maybe got one gift at Christmas time, and I really don't know when it even started.
Brenda opened Back in Time Christmas Boutique 4 years ago. As her business grew, so did her collection of crafts, and thankfully, her husband's patience. To the point where it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere. In the kitchen, on the birdcage, even in the upstairs shower.
It's kind of a novelty, so people remember that.
Even Brenda's parakeet Rocky has the Christmas spirit.
And the first thing he says when he gets up in the morning is, music, pretty music, because I always have music going when I'm working on things.
She has no idea how many angels or Santas she's collected, but Brenda does have 6 large Christmas trees on the second floor, decorated with ornaments made by hand from the heart.
And I think the most beautiful compliment that was ever paid to me, this woman looked around and then she turned and looked at me and said, "You've just shown us your heart." And I thought that was the most beautiful thing I've ever heard.
Was she right?
Yes. My heart, I love Christmas. My heart is in Christmas.
In West Duluth, Maureen Tallarico, Channel 6 News.
The North Shore, like so many places in the Northland, is beautiful and picturesque. But sometimes mixed with the beautiful sights and sounds is the not-so-beautiful sight of failing septic systems. In fact, health officials say most of the septic systems along the North Shore are either inadequate or failing.
90 to 100% probably are either failing to the ground surface, backing up into someone's house, or are too close to the seasonally high water table.
The problem exists because the shallow, hard clay soil absorbs little moisture. That means mound systems need a lot of area to properly disperse the wastewater. Most lots along the North Shore are too small to hold a standard septic system. One solution is to hire an engineer, which may be expensive, but health officials say it's worth the cost.
If they have an engineer, the chances are they won't have to redo it over again. That's part of the reason why you have the engineer, because the engineer takes a look at things quite specific to the site, soil conditions, and the engineer also puts on there the water use.
So they can custom build a system then that won't.
Yes.
Some homeowners agree that custom designing a system is the way to go, but they believe the county should be the one controlling the development.
I would like to see the county work in conjunction with the engineer rather than have the homeowner hire the engineer, come up with a plan, and then submit that to the county. Because then we may be going on the wrong track, where if the county is working directly with the engineering company, they can steer the project a lot easier.
Other than custom designing a septic system, there are some experimental systems available, but only for certain areas along the North Shore, so it's important to call the health department for more information.
Balancing academics and athletics, and like balancing all three basically is the hardest, to find time for everything. And yet still like going to state this year for tennis, getting fourth was just incredible for me. It was a great experience.
A pint cream, okay? Okay, but you go off 4 days would be max, yeah. So is there another class?
That's all right, it's still pretty. Okay.
Yes, perfect. The week after Thanksgiving, and because a lot of people said, oh, I'd like to learn how to do that. And so we thought, well, okay, that's fine, we'll do it, and at the same time tell you that, you know, it's going to be eaten at the special dinner that we have on Wednesday the 10th.
Pretty good. I blew one on bad focus, but I got a good left side flip.
Okay, good.
Are you going to roll it out a little more?
St. Paul hardest, but tragically, gang crime violence has also spread throughout the prairie like a fire to all of the regions of our state. Last month's homicide in Grand Rapids is a tragic reminder that gangs violence spreads all throughout our state as well. And communities like Duluth and Rochester, St. Cloud, Moorhead, Worthington, and Wilmer are all experiencing increased.
Okay, how you doing? How you doing? My pleasure. Nice to meet you. How you doing?
Your hands are big.
Yes, it makes it easier to catch the ball with.
And the old man went on doing his work. Every day he roamed the streets, looking for new, hurt, and injured, abandoned bears. What? He gave those bears new legs or arms if they needed them.
When Grandpa Joe and Uncle Bill visit, these kids at Lincoln Park Elementary School know they'll share a magical morning. Today, they brought their favorite stuffy to hug while they hear the story of Threadbear. It's the tale of throwaway bears and the elderly gentleman who nurses them back to health.
Look at here. Some of us were even gaining weight. Look at Bruno here. He's getting fat. We were healing real well.
For the past 20 years, Joe Gagne has visited elementary classrooms to share his love of a good story. Bill Bradley has been volunteering with Duluth's RSVP group for the past 5.
It's something that all seniors should be getting into is real volunteer work. It's all volunteer. We don't get paid a penny outside of lots of fun, lots of hugs.
I feel that we're here for one purpose on this earth, and to give. To give. And the day will come when we can. So we keep on going until that day comes.
Listening to Joe and Bill, it's easy to see why these kids and others like them in elementary schools across Duluth anxiously await their visits.
I like when they come in because you read some stories I've never heard before, and they're pretty interesting to me.
They're fun, and they make me laugh.
Bill and Joe don't hesitate to share their gift, passing along the finer points of storytelling.
Molly Peters.
Nice and loud.
Little Molly Peters stuck her finger up her nose.
Do it.
Do
it.
Just like this.
Okay. Now,
With training like this, don't be surprised if today's students become tomorrow's storytellers. At least that's the hope of Uncle Bill and Grandpa Joe, who, like the old man in the story of Threadbare, loved each teddy, no matter what their size, color, or age.
and that's the story of Threadbare.
For many years we've had high numbers of deer in the park in the summer and especially in the winter, and they've damaged the vegetation from over-browsing to the point that we have very little natural tree regeneration in the park.
It's like hunting out west. It looks like mountains back there. It's tough going, a lot of hills. There ain't much snow, the hills are dirt, they get slippery, you know, a lot of slipping and sliding, but it's been fun, a lot of work, you sweat.
Yeah, hi Steve, Jane calling you from Fingerhut. So I was just processing the order that you placed with us here recently.
The catalog sales industry is growing at an exponential rate across the country. And here in the Northland, one of the largest catalog companies, Fingerhut, is busy processing a number of holiday orders.
We're working hard to get out all of our packages. We send out, well, we have the capacity to send out 200,000 packages a day. For this holiday season, we mailed out 4.5 million big book catalogs. They're our version of the Christmas catalog.
For Fingerhut, Christmas time provides 90% of the profits for the company and represents 40% of total sales. And with the holiday rush, they employ more than 400 employees at the Duluth office and even more in Evelyn. Such catalog success stories have encouraged many smaller stores to send out catalogs of their own, like Electric Outlet.
We mailed it out in the first part of October to approximately 160,000 homes in 38 states. And so far we've had orders from all states, and it's just been really exciting. We're getting orders in every day, and it's been really fun just to see where the orders are coming from.
One of the most popular selling gifts in their catalog is the walleye mate.
The walleye mate is something that you program in the water temperature, water depth, time of day, and the walleye mate will calculate what type of bait to use, what level of water to fish in the proper time of day to fish for that type of game that you're going after.
These days you can get about anything in a catalog. If you're looking for the ultimate gift, check out this chair from Panasonic. This thing will give you a complete massage from head to toe. Another reason many people shop from catalogs, it's just plain easy.
We were up on Friday, of course, and the crowds were here at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, and if you want to avoid crowds, what better way to do it than just stay at home and use the phone?
In Duluth, Adam May, Channel 6 News.
In a letter to Judge Robert McCauley, Martin says he and Bryant Wolf are having fundamental disagreements. The letter states, "I have been asking Mr. Bryant Wolf to try and get me into the federal court system. This is where Mr. Bryant Wolf and I have our disagreements." Martin is accused of pulling the trigger in the shooting death of Paul Antonich, August 28th of 1996. If the case goes to federal court and Martin is convicted, he could face the death penalty.
Where isn't it? Where?
I give them a budget to work with, and I give them, they have to follow color requirements and themes for us, and we're excited because they really do all the work, and when we benefit from the project and the residents love it. You can just see how it really transforms our facility from, you know, everyday living to it really feels very festive and very classy.
Okay, I have another wreath there that says, outside the door like you should. Should I go get a nail?
Promote a special discount in the morning for the biking fans, and then in the afternoon another discount.
A home was burglarized on Cook Street in Duluth's Lakeside community on Thursday morning, October 23rd. The garage door was accidentally left open when the homeowner went to work, and the thieves took advantage of the mistake and stole a 1995 Ford Explorer. They drove carelessly around the neighborhood and then headed for the Lakewood, Leicester River area, where they tried to drive the car in the woods. The rough treatment caused nearly $6,000 worth of damage. The ride ended when the thieves nearly drove over a cliff into the river. They hit a small tree, which probably saved their lives. The thieves had a hair-raising experience and are probably still telling their friends about it. Call Crime Stoppers if you know who they are. We'll keep your name anonymous and pay you a substantial reward. Our numbers are 1-800-974-TIPS or 723-ENOUGH. That's 723-3683.
Radio.
Lighter side.
33 going to Tri-Towers.
Santa Claus is taking a vacation from the North Pole, and it's right here in the Northland. He's decided to put away the sleigh and drive a taxi, spreading some good old-fashioned holiday cheer.
There's people out there that need a cab. They can call and ride with Santa Claus on Monday and Wednesdays and Fridays and Saturdays. Santa Claus will be glad to take you anywhere.
Okay. And my kids, my grandkids hear it, I'm sure they'll be thrilled and have all kinds of questions about Santa. I'm going to tell them that he told me he's watching over them and they better behave themselves if they want a nice Christmas.
We all know Santa usually comes bearing gifts, and when you ride in his taxi cab, it's no different. You might get a candy cane or a holiday calendar, but you really don't even need to ride in the taxi to get a feel of the holiday cheer he's spreading across the Northland.
Santa, where's my present? I've been such a good girl.
As always, Santa rewards good girls with candy.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas!
But because Santa is so busy working, he can't give candy to everyone. But he does always find time to wave and say Merry Christmas to kids and kids at heart.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! This year for Christmas to me is just, I just feel different about it this year than I ever have. And I really like it.
Santa says that although he's busy driving the taxi, he promises to make time on Christmas Eve to attend to his real job.
Santa ain't gonna forget to bring presents. Santa never forgets little kids.
In Duluth, Adam May, Channel 6 News. In Duluth, Adam May, NBC News.
I didn't catch it. Where you headed? I think I'm going to UMPLA, you know.
Bradley James Dios pleaded guilty to intentional murder earlier this week in exchange for his testimony against the others allegedly involved in William Booth's death. The grisly details of the murder are now out. New charges are filed, and some previously filed charges have been altered. Investigators say that 17-year-old Kelly Sater and 18-year-old Amy Cooper arranged to get the gun that killed Booth and tricked him into riding from the home of accused gunman Stephen Schoenborg to the scene of his death at a mine dump in Arbo Township. Both have had their charges increased to first-degree murder. The report also indicates the two young women may have hidden or destroyed evidence. 20-year-old Shadrach Hayes is also accused of securing the weapon and arranging for Booth to get to the murder scene. 18-year-olds Jamie Renee Latimer and Brandon Panett are reported to have helped destroy or conceal evidence of the murder. They face accomplice charges. Bail is set for all those who may have played a role in the murder at $500,000 each. Justin Acree, Channel 6 News.
They were running, panicking, and the cops were they were all yelling at each other. He's over there, he's over there. And then Mom actually saw a guy pull a gun on someone else, so I assume it was a cop.